Like, if you're being more exclusive when you're starting out, I don't think that makes sense.
I know when people are modeling, and especially starting out, and you're like, you don't have to say yes to everything.
Yep.
You don't have to shoot with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that by being picky, and maybe not when you're starting out, but later in the line, it kind of represents you as maybe more exclusive? So, like, for example, I feel that a lot of photographers would be turned off for a model that shoots all around town.
Yeah.
Because it's like, how am I going to pose this differently or represent her or him or whatever in a different way, versus someone who's maybe new to the scene and you're kind of working with like a blank canvas at that point.
Yeah.
Do you think that, like, how would a model even go about that? Do you think because I'm sure there's pros and cons for both.
Yeah.
If you're working with everybody, your portfolio is going to be up, your networking is going to be insane. But if maybe you're past that point and you're working with fewer and fewer people, that maybe represents you as more professional, maybe.
Yeah.
It's more exclusive, and I don't know. I feel like to eventually get to that point too, you're gonna have to, like, I don't know. Maybe go through both of them.
Yeah.
And then maybe that's like the timeline of a model.
Yeah, I
be
feel
successful.
like it's a process thing. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, if you're being more exclusive when you're starting out, I don't think that makes sense.
And it's gonna be hard. And you gotta learn the craft first.
Yeah,
And
that's not how I was. Like, well, it's not that I said yes to everyone. I definitely said no to things because I'm very, like, cautious and like anxious about, like, something happening, and you have to be that way.
Houston is a dangerous
Especially
fucking place.
as
Creepy photographers.
Yeah, especially as
There's
a woman, you have to
Mhm.
be aware. Like, these people will take advantage of you, especially as someone starting out, especially if you're a minor. So I was a teenager, doing a lot of this, and then I'm 20 now, so it's been interesting to kind of see that too, like how people treat you when you're like a minor versus as an adult. That's also another thing. But I think definitely you cannot be picky at first unless you're, like, super lucky, but I think it's just a learning and growing process. So, like, maybe for the first year you have to be, basing this off my experience, of course.
Yeah.
But, like, the first year, I think you should really be pretty open. And also,
it's kind of like acting.
You're kind of trying to find your style, like, kind of like we were talking earlier.
Yeah.
You need to work with different people and see what you like and what you don't like.
True that.
So I would say the first year, be more open and don't feel like, I don't know, like, it's trial and error and, like, just learn. And then as that goes on, depending on, like, your experience level and, like, what you've done, you can kind of reevaluate. And then, I mean, by that point, you should probably, all goes well, be able to, like, charge for shoots and stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't want to, like, do your rates too high because you want work, but also don't do them too low to where it's, like, nothing. But being consistent with that is really hard. Like, even now, my consistency with that is not, like, it's not full time.
Because it's a forever growing niche too. Prices are changing, places, venues, cost for photographers, this and that. Everything is always changing and developing. So I guess that's also something that you have to be wary about and kind of stay on top of, especially if you're if you're in the process of building that portfolio or building your persona.
I would say now, like, being 3 years, I guess I'll be 4 years in at the end of this year.
Yeah.
I'm definitely more exclusive.
Yeah.
I don't work with everybody. I mean, now I pretty much work with Uriel all the time. And I work with you fairly often.
Yeah.
And then there's a few other people that, like, I feel like I work consistently with kind of the same group of photographers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
like,
I notice models do that.
Yeah, and I feel like photographers do as well. Like, from my perspective, I think the more experience you have, the more you can kind of, like, I think it's good to be picky sometimes.
It is. I agree. Right now, like, where I'm at, I am picky.
Yeah, like, you have to be, because it's like your art has, like, if you have a specific vision for yourself or for the artwork itself, like, you don't want to just, like, I think the subject is a big part of it. So I don't want to, like, shoot, like, I don't know, a Hispanic theme shoot and have like a black person in it or a white person. Like it has to be fit my vision. So
exactly,
it's good to be picky that way. Like models have specific looks for different concepts.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people can take that the wrong way. You know what I mean? Like they can be like, well, how come I can't do that? Like, but she can. What? I'm like, there's certain. That's kind of how it is. Like, there's certain looks that fit a theme better. Or certain
a skin tone that fits a certain background better. Like I always think of that because I don't want to. I don't know. It's just important to know what you're shooting and why you're shooting it. Don't just shoot something and like grab a model. I mean, if you're in the experimental phase, I think it's
sometimes
it's good to do it.
I like that. I mean,
you can. I feel like it's random. A challenge.
It's a challenge. I like the way it
helps you learn
creatively.
It helps you experiment.
But
and
just if you're being more intentional, that is where you want to be. Like really think of all the details. Like
picky, choosy.
And it's not like don't take things personally. I would say because I think the industry is so like. It can feel like, oh, you're being targeted or you're not like wanted in this space.
Exactly.
But it's just there's something for everyone, and I think people forget that.
They have their connections and they work with people multiple times, and they really, you can match well. Like I feel like most of my feed now is a lot of your photos. Yeah. But it's just like because the way you model is very good. We always seem to be at like the same places.
Yeah.
And it fits well. So it's like that's always like I could always count on you to like be in the photo and it delivers and it gets that vision through.
And like since I obviously like your style and stuff, and you like using me as a model, like it just happens that way. It just works, and that's how I feel like after you get to a certain point, it just kind of ends up happening that way, where you build relationships, and then you're able to have reliable connections and collaborate and stuff, even if you're not getting paid or whatever. Like having those good collaborations can still be very helpful. And also if you know how to like make content out of it too. Like I've been so good at getting like BTS and things like that to make reels and TikToks and everything, because you have to kind of have the video content
with the
now.
Algorithm,
So doing that kind of stuff too, it helps with the content creation side.
Everyone's comfortable. People know what it's about.
It's something that's been a little bit challenging for me is knowing, should I always be posting these like super like high quality photos, or should I post more iPhone photos? Because I feel like it's hard to mix that.